What's up, everyone? We're back for week 6 of Backyard Trash Talk.
Dude, it's 7.
Is it 7?
It's week 7.
Oh, I thought we just had 5 last week.
No, it's a month and a half. That's 6
Week
weeks.
7 of Backyard Trash Talk.
Touchdown week.
That'll be a fun
We kicked
intro.
the touchdown.
Anyway, week 7. I mean, it's been so many now, I'm losing track of the weeks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the correction.
Yeah.
John, we're back. Spring's coming to an end. Getting close to summer. Getting warm out. Feeling good. How
Great.
you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Actually, I was out the other day watching a lacrosse game, and I learned that you can kind of see it here. The fans can't see it, though. Dead skin kind of coming on me left and right, so it's sun season, you know. So I'm going to lotion up a little bit. I've been trying to hydrate more my skin and getting on all that Tom Brady stuff or whatever. So.
Yeah, it's farmer's tan season for
It's
sure.
farmer's tan season.
Not yet
right
full
there,
tan
right?
season. It's
Yeah,
farmer's tan season.
So you got any big trips this summer?
Yeah, going to the beach, you know, trying
Which
to get the
beach?
real tan on. Going to the Outer Banks this year,
Nice.
which I know you love to frequent the Outer
Yeah.
Banks.
Are you going July?
August.
First
Yeah.
week in August?
First week in August.
Every time.
Every
Last
year.
week in July.
We just miss each
We'll
other
just
every
miss
year.
you, yeah.
Anyway,
Where are we going?
speaking
Sorry.
of kind of personal stories and, you know, beaches and personal stories and other stuff, John had a pretty interesting experience actually today.
Yeah.
As we're recording this today, when
Yeah.
you're watching this, who knows, maybe
Yeah.
last week. But you had an opportunity to go to the NFL Players Association office.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, fill us
Yeah,
in?
so I had a friend at Liberty University who actually was my boss as well, and he got me in contact with this guy named Connor, and Connor works for the NFLPA. He's been there for 7 years, and Connor and I met each other a couple years ago. I think it was 2016, and he and I kind of hit it off, and so a couple years later, I hit him up and I was like, hey, I never came to see you, and I wanted to go hang out with you. So today I drove down D.C., went to the NFLPA. It was cool. I got my own parking spot. They
Wow,
parked me on
there
a
you
corner
go.
and like, oh, please park in number 53. And so I'm rolling in there. You know, you got your Range Rovers, you got your Cadillacs, you got your Porsches,
Yeah.
and then the Hyundai Sonata 2009. With the Princeton sticker. Don't forget the Princeton sticker.
Hey, you got to show you're a little bit high class,
Yeah.
you know. Even though you're
Yeah.
in the Sonata,
Yeah.
you're like, hey, you know, flex, I went to Princeton.
I think the Hyundai Sonata says, I got swag, but I also have a financial advisor. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
it
saying?
definitely
So
says that.
Princeton sticker, don't forget that. Spent about 0.0 minutes at Princeton University, but go Tigers. So park, get out, walk me up. My contact, Connor, friend of mine. Now, I can call him friend. Now he's more than an acquaintance. He goes, all right, let's go to lunch, and I'll give you a quick tour. So we get in the elevators to go to ground level. He accidentally hits 8. So we're obviously going past ground level. He goes, shoot, we'll just do the tour now. I accidentally clicked my button. So we walk out. There was a couple players, former players right there taking pictures, I think with fans or sponsors or something.
And
so
to jump in here real quick,
Yeah.
again, from if you listened last week about the Mitt Romney story, John isn't too good with faces and players and names. So you said there were players there that you knew, but you
I
couldn't put their
recognize. I
name.
can't say I
Okay.
know, but
Okay.
I recognize. I was like, yeah, he definitely played in the league. Couldn't pin it. I'm pretty sure he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. I'll probably figure it out. If we do, we'll throw it in the comments at some point. It'll take about 3 days to marinate on. So they kind of showed me around. It was really cool. The walls had kind of like jerseys put into the walls, and they were
that's cool.
shining, and then autographs and stuff like that. And then they took me back to the offices, and what I didn't know is Connor's pretty high up in there. He's one of the directors of player marketing or player development.
Okay.
I think it's player marketing. And
And just to jump in
Yeah.
too, I said the NFLPA. If those of you who aren't good with acronyms, that's the NFL Players Association. So they actually kind of like they're essentially like the union, right? For the play, they represent
their
the players'
slogan
rights.
is, "We are
and-
not a fan of the team; we're a fan of the players."
Yeah, they advocate for
Yeah.
players' rights. You know, they want shorter training camp, less practices, more money for the players, that type of thing.
Yeah, so we walked through the offices, and it was interesting. The style of everybody kind of had their own really nice office, glass windows. so you could see him. But all the offices tended to have their doors open, which I think expresses a good culture. And so we walked by a door that had a guy working, and Connor kind of just reached in and knocked on his open door. And so the guy turned around, and Connor was like, "Hey, I want you to introduce you. This is John Ireland, and John Ireland, meet Don Davis, who is the senior. He's the senior director of the player side there." And so I got to meet him real quick. Former NFL player, 2-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots. A big guy. So when you're eye to eye with a big guy that you know played in the NFL, first thing you're doing is I can't give him a fish grip, right?
Oh, I know.
So I went in there and I squeezed that hand. I don't have a good analogy. I just squeezed that hand really hard. I got a good firm shake. He is a fan of Liberty, so I looked him in the eye and said, "Yeah, go Flames, baby." Walked away, and then Connor and I saw his office. Then we kind of grabbed some lunch, and then I think I'm going to try to go back in a few months again to get the full-on tour. He had a meeting, so we were kind of pressed for time, so we did a quick tour. But it is cool. Players frequent it a lot. It's just kind of in the heart of the business side of D.C. Really, really cool area for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cool behind-the-scenes access.
Yeah.
Get to see, because a lot of times you think, First Street in New York, the NFL offices are down there, like Midtown Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you think all the business goes down, but that's only the essentially NFL side.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole other half of the NFL Players Association that really is on the forefront for the players. And with all the lockouts and strikes, they're the ones that are trying to strike bargains with the NFL, try and get them better opportunities, better pay, loosen the rules here and there. So, it's really cool to get kind of a little behind
and
the
I
scenes
asked
access.
Connor, I said, "What is your role?" And he said, "We're actually flying out to LA next week to meet with a lot of the rookies." They have this one event called the Top 40 where the top 40 picks come together, and they throw events for that. So it's a lot of big events, fundraisers and stuff, and express awareness. And what's cool about the PA is a lot of people hate the PA because they're the ones who make sure that the players aren't practicing every day. They're the ones making sure that there's breaks, and so coaches might hate it, owners might hate it, but the players love it. But long term, these guys are also in it for just the successful future of the player outside of football. And I think because the NFLPA, in context of the whole NFL, has been around in a shorter venue of time. You've kind of seen them trying to catch up on what does it look like for retirement packages? How do we help alumni players? How do we help for the long-term future? And so Connor's kind of a part of just building that vision and that future. And so it was a really good time and a really cool experience. And there was definitely NFL players walking around there, but it's not like I could remember their names, so it's all good.
Keep it in the back of your heads. Potential guests maybe coming out. We'll see.
No promises.
John maybe
can
can make some magic.
I don't know.
We'll see. Stay tuned. Stay posted. We might get some behind the scenes NFLPA action, but you're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
But anyway, shifting gears, we had quite a weekend in sports, quite craziness. This weekend was the Kentucky Derby.
Kentucky.
And boy, was it filled with some controversy. John, how'd you feel about
it? Before we hop into the controversy of the Kentucky Derby, can we just see that the Kentucky Derby, or horse races in general, the big three races at least, it is almost like a fashion show for men. Have you noticed that? Like, if you look at Tom Brady's Instagram, there is picture after picture with him of many different players from many different teams, coaches, Cliff, back at it again. And they're dressed up and they all kind of have their own look to it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a men's day out where it's kind of like their own modeling agency going on.
It's like the Met Gala for athletes.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It is. So my favorite vote, I thought that if we can we pull up the Tom Brady picture with all the people right now? All right. So if you look really closely, you'll see a guy that had kind of a stash that resembles someone we don't really promoting history, but that is Mike Vrabel. Look really closely in the back of the picture.
Oh,
My
yeah,
man is creeping back there.
Hard.
Shout out to Mike Vrabel as the guy who is kind of in that tension of I'm an ex-player, but now I'm a coach. But I'm a little older, but I'm not.
Am I boys with you guys?
Exactly, exactly.
It's like that one high school teacher that's like really close to his high school guys. It's like, bro, are you trying to be friends with us? Like, is this weird?
Yeah,
like, is this
exactly,
cool or not?
Exactly. Are you trying to relive your high school? So Mike Vrabel wins. You can't even see his swag, but so much confidence just being there with that mustache. Don't know what's going on there.
And did you see Tom Brady and Julian Edelman just like throwing $100K bets?
That was Amendola.
It was Amendola.
Yeah.
They were just tossing around $100K like it was just like a $10 bill.
Yeah. Even the $10 seems like too much right there. But Tom Brady made another $100K. So I hope he donates that to nonprofits like the Backyard Trash Talk or anything like that. But going back to the horse racing now. Kentucky Derby, rainy day, nasty conditions.
Yeah.
They're coming around that last turn. Maximum security allegedly cuts off country horse, is it?
Allegedly. Country home.
Country, whatever. I don't know. Country don't matter.
Something.
Go home. Go to your country. I don't know. Cuts him off and ends up winning the race by many lengths.
Yeah.
Country home, I don't care. I don't even want to say his name. Debates that he was cut off. Horse was physically interfered with. And they overruled the win for maximum security. Maximum security does not win. Here are the issues with that. A, it was a rainy day.
Yeah.
Muddy conditions. And you had terrible odds to win anyway. No one actually thought you were going to win. So country home, whatever, country get out. She had no business even being there.
Yeah.
So I think maximum security should have gotten the win. The conditions kind of messed things up. I understand that they probably had a little more interference than they should have. But I want to hear your take on it, Chris.
Yeah, and as a horse racing expert since 6 o'clock on Saturday, I mean, that call was garbage. What can I say? I mean, come on, let the boys play.
Absolutely.
In a big event like that, just let them ride, let them race, let them turn a little right, when you go. Let them turn a little left.
I know, right?
Who cares?
Old Town Road came out. Everybody's just trying to live it up.
They got the horses in the back. But come on.
Yeah.
Everyone's hammered. Nobody knows what's going on. I think the funniest part of all of this...
Not the jockeys and not the horses, though.
Well, I mean, maybe. You saw them weird, right? But, I mean, the funniest part of it, I wonder how many people bet on country home and were like, oh, he lost, ripped up the ticket. Like, I'm done with this nonsense. I'm sure there was a lot of people out there that were like,
that was a long 22 minutes.
Like, what the heck?
I think someone made $36,000 off of betting for him. So, a lot of money to be made for morons out there. But one more thing I want to talk about. Totally forget what I wanted to talk about. We're gonna have to cut that out.
Come on, John, you can do it.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. No, we're back. Please take that out, Chris. We're back.
No, it's staying in.
This is an example of what pass interference replay is going to look like in the NFL. That when you slow something down just enough, everything's going to look dirty, and we're going to have controversy like that. So here is your prequel to the sequel, which is coming up in fall of 2019.
That was quite the tie-in, I have to say.
Yeah, here's a foreshadow. I should be a writer.
Anyway, we're going to shift gears again.
Okay.
Baseball.
We're going to be positive tonight.
A sport that people actually watch.
Yeah.
Unlike horse racing, which people watch once a year.
Three times.
Anyway, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. The biggest prospect coming up, arguably the biggest prospect coming up this year.
Definitely.
His dad is Vladdy Guerrero.
G.
Future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Legend of the game. His son, ultimate swag. He's got the blonde dreads. He's swagging around. He's out in the minors hitting bombs. He finally gets called up last week. John, how do you think his career is going to compare to his dad's?
Oh, a lot of pressure there.
Yeah.
Here's one thing about Vladdy Guerrero Sr. that I loved. In his time with the Orioles, there was a time where they were trying to intentionally walk Vladdy Guerrero Sr. I believe it was a 3-0 count. They threw a ball outside of the plate, and he reached over to hit a single when he was going to get walked anyway. That explains Vladdy Guerrero Sr. So if he is raising this boy, I think the swag level is going to be next level. I think the power hitting. And the thing about baseball, man, I mean, you got to do it for yourself. We know that the big market teams are going to win all the championships. If you look at the last 10 years, with the exception of 1 year with the Kansas City Royals, a top 5 salary-based team has won the World Series. So forget that. You're playing for Toronto. You ain't going to play for a ring until you're a free agent. Have fun out there. Yep. Swing away. I think there's a lot of potential, a lot of ceiling to be climbed. I don't want to deem him better than his father yet, but the ceiling is high, and I love that the batting stance is so similar. How do you feel about Vladdy?
I mean, come on. He's a definition of swag. He's up there ripping his batting gloves. You know, he's got the little shoulder shrug. But, you know, it's funny. As much as the MLB tried to go away from the steroid era, the lots of home runs, you know, the crackdown on steroids, obviously a good thing. Not that Vladimir Guerrero is on steroids. I'm not trying to make that point. Yeah. I'm trying to make the point of he's bringing back the bomb, absolute moonshot home runs. Yeah. He's bringing those back, and that's what we miss from Barry Bonds, from Mark McGwire, from Sammy Sosa, is that's what Vladdy Guerrero Jr. brings to the table, is anytime he steps in that batter's box, he can go and it can go far.
Baby.
And that thing can go far.
Can I tell you something? I think that if doctors can sit down and look at the effects of steroids long term.
No, you can't tell me you're having this.
And if it's not going to affect their livelihood, in the sense of that it's going to lower their life expectancy.
Expectancy.
Yeah, it's late. Exactly, whatever.
Just, you know.
Yeah, like, edit that out. Just beep it out. If their lives will not end earlier because of steroids, I think they should be allowed to take. Let's not make it cheating. Let's get moonshots back into the game. I think they need it. Thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah. Steroids, no. That's a terrible idea. I'm gonna cut you off right
Fun fact.
That's an awful idea.
Anderson, you are part of the steroid era.
Okay, well, yes. Back when I was like 2 years old, I had, for medical reasons, had to take steroids like one time.
Absolutely.
As you can see, I'm definitely
into
still
a
on
JV
steroids.
superstar. Second team all county wide receiver?
Yeah, you know.
That's hard. That's hard. Especially at Mount Effort. Very hard.
I know. That's the top
Steroids
program.
work, baby. I think they should shoot them up, assuming that it doesn't kill anyone at an early age. I'm all for the
all
bombs.
the kids watching out there, please disregard anything.
I mean, if right now it's cheating right now, but they should legalize it. Only in the MLB, not college or young sports. You have to make it before you can load up. So
I disagree with that totally. Anyway, we're having quite the transitions here.
Yeah, hard transitions.
We got the NBA playoffs going on.
Yeah.
We got some tight series. It looks like really the only one that's pulling away is the Bucks a little bit from the Celtics.
Yeah, so we're going to go back to Scott's little interview. Scott says Milwaukee's the team to look at, and he said 2 reasons. Golden State's going to be in a long series, even if they win.
Which they are.
Well, it's 2-2.
It's 2-2. That's, you know.
Yeah. Even if they win the whole series, they're probably going to go to 6-7 games versus Milwaukee that might get away with 4 or 5 games, 6 games versus a 7th game. And he said the path for the West is a lot harder than the path to the East. And so far, what he is saying is lining up. Giannis is dominating, absolutely going off. No one's talking about that compared to everybody saying Harden's eyes, Harden can shoot, and then Kevin Durant's been amazing, but no one's really talking about Giannis in the same dominant way.
Yeah.
So I think Giannis needs more love. But what I've heard just as much as Giannis doing well is that Kyrie has been off. His shooting percentage is terrible right now. Boston brought him in to win playoff games. He said it himself. How do you feel about, like, it almost seems like Kyrie's maybe the market. He's just kind of stealing the press of that series, even though he's really not doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about big personalities, big-time players. And, you know, Giannis is getting praise, but I think another guy that's not getting love is Kawhi Leonard of the Raptors.
Yeah.
I mean, another guy who I saw a stat the other day through the first 4 games of this series, he's putting up the same numbers that Kevin Durant is. Except Kevin Durant's getting all the publicity because Kevin Durant's a big name, big personality. He's got his own show on ESPN Plus.
Which, side note, if you watch that show, he doesn't look anyone in the eyes. It is very uncomfortable.
That's weird.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, but Kawhi, he gets no love, and I think it has to do with a little bit. He's kind of a boring dude. He doesn't make a show of anything. He's there to play basketball. It almost seems like he's clocking into his 9 to 5 every day when he's showing up to the court. But that dude's a beast. I mean, he doesn't get the love that some of these other guys get. And Giannis does get, in terms of publicity, not the same amount as like a Kyrie of Kevin Durant. But it's all about the star power. It's all about playing in the big markets. And Kevin Durant and Kyrie, no matter how they do, they're going to get talked about, regardless of whether they put up stats, regardless of what their line is. That's just how it is. And the guys like Giannis and definitely Kawhi are just going to get overshadowed because they just don't have that same personality.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it's just fun. Kyrie's a weird dude. Can we talk about that, like flat Earth, like flat Earth? I just want to see someone hop off the side of the Earth. That's all I want to see.
Thankfully he has hopped off the flat Earth bandwagon.
Oh, he has? I did not know that.
Thankfully.
So, what, did he read a textbook?
He Googled one thing and probably found the answer. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I heard someone said one time that I'd believe in flat Earth too if I could have dribbles like Kyrie.
I know.
So interesting series. I think Milwaukee looks like they're probably gonna take it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I like Boston's coaching staff. Brad Stevens is a tremendous staff.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
No, and another series I'd like to point out is the Nuggets-Portland series, kind of a sleeper series. Nobody's really watching it. But Damian Lillard, that dude's fun to watch.
Yeah.
That dude can ball. As we talked about last episode, he's a meme lord. He hits baller shots in overtime. Like, that dude is fun to watch. Yeah. And the Eastern Conference, like Scott said, is a little bit easier this year. Well, they're in the Western Conference, so never mind.
Lots of editing tonight.
Yeah, I know, right?
But still, he's fun to watch. The Paul George shot last series, by the way, when Paul George was like, yeah, that was a dumb shot. Yeah. Like, if you look at it, he kind of, like, cocked it. Like, Paul had a point. Like, he just kind of threw it up there.
Yeah, but if it's a dumb shot, why is
it going in, right?
Well, hey, it's only a dumb shot if he misses. That's all I gotta say.
Absolutely. Can you give me your best Damian Lillard face after the win?
No, I can't.
he kind of looks like Franklin the Turtle. It's like
just straight up at the camera.
It's good. He knew it. He knew it was going to market himself. So I kind of like this series. It's good to see James Harden and the Rockets kind of taking it to Golden State in a sense of they're not going to make it easy. It's going to probably go to a Game 7, and if Steph Curry or Klay Thompson heats up, then they're in trouble.
Yeah, it's tough to beat. But finally wrapping up here. It's been quite a night. John is back at it with his mispronunciation of names.
Terrible.
He loves to do it. He's been known for it.
I'm like now the new Sean. Have you thought about that?
That's all right. Man. So we have a little new segment alert.
Okay.
New segment. I'm going to call it 4 for 4.
Okay.
Right? 4 for 4. So I'm going to give you 4 things, and you're going to have to rank those 4 things.
Okay.
All right? From worst to first.
Okay. This is on the spot. I don't know what's coming.
Just going.
This is a new segment to me, too.
I'm pulling my top 4 sports moments of all time. I'm going to give them to you, and you're going to rank them.
Okay.
And please comment below if you have any other best sports moments, because, there's tons.
There's tons.
These are my top 4 sports moments. I'm going to tell them to you, and you're going to rank them.
In your opinion. Okay.
In my opinion. Number 1, Chicago Cubs. End the World Series drought of 108 years. They play a thrilling 10-inning Game 7 against the Indians. End the drought. It was an unbelievable postseason appearance. Number 2, The Shot. Villanova versus North Carolina. Chris Jenkins hits a buzzer beater to win the national championship. Mm-hmm. One of the greatest, honestly, shots in basketball history, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Number 3, everyone's going to hate on this, but the Patriots, Super Bowl, down 25 points to the Atlanta Falcons. come back and win the first ever overtime Super Bowl. One of the greatest sports comebacks in NFL history and NFL playoff history.
Yep.
And finally, number 4, the infamous kick 6, Auburn versus Alabama. Chris Davis takes the kickoff 109 yards back for a touchdown.
Oh, man.
For the win in the Iron Bowl.
This is tough.
So you got the Cubs, Villanova game-winning shot.
Okay.
You got the Patriots Super Bowl comeback, and finally the kick 6.
All right.
Starting at 4.
4. All right.
Break it back
4.
up to 1.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Chicago Cubs ending the drought. Here's why. I think that it's cool when franchises finally win after a long period of time or for the first time. I think it's neat. But it's not like the same players and the same coach have been suffering for so long.
Yeah.
So for me, the redemptive story, not as much shock value. Good for them, but like the same thing with the Philadelphia Eagles. There was no heartstrings. It wasn't like Doug Peterson's been struggling for 55 years to win a Super Bowl for them. So I'm going to go Cubs at 4.
Okay.
Number 3.
Here's the list too.
Number 3.
In case you get.
I'm going to go The Shot, okay?
Oh, wow.
The Shot.
That's tough.
At 3. I love when things are just over. Like, it's just like, it's done. It's
That's
over.
great.
And
that's one of those, like, big moments where you remember where you were when you watched that shot. Like, you remember, like, the house you were at, the party you were at. You remember that shot.
I was in my residential director's couch with 5 other guys. We had linked arms, and we were doing this. And they went down and drained it. And so many kids were North Carolina fans there, so it was unbelievable. Yeah. Number 2, you said sports moment.
Best sports
moment.
Yeah, best sports moment.
So moment, if it's moment, I'm going to say Patriots at 2. Okay. And here's why. Comeback, unbelievable. Game itself, the whole picture of the game, one of the best of all time. However, as soon as the Atlanta Falcons fumbled that ball, I think it was middle fourth quarter. I think it was around 11 minutes, if I can recall correctly. I might be totally wrong about that. They recovered the fumble, and at that point, here it comes.
Yeah.
You knew it was coming. And so they go to overtime, and at that point, you knew New England won. Like, it was like Atlanta just completely collapsed. You knew New England won. So the very last moment of the run into the end zone was icing on the cake. I don't think it was a big climactic finish. It was not a boom thing. You saw them marching down the field. The moment itself happened already, and they were just putting ice on the cake. Number 1, kick 6.
I mean,
at the Beshner residence, Alabama at that point was just like there was no Clemson then.
No,
it was like they were the bee's knees, untouchable. This was before the college football playoff, right?
This was before the playoff. Yeah.
So I just remember in special teams. Here's a little football thing. In special teams, field goal return, they teach that the field goal returner should always take the ball towards their bench. Why? Because when the kick is done, or when the kick happens, naturally after the players are done blocking, they're looking at the ball, they start to walk towards their sideline.
That's interesting.
And so they actually say you should always run towards your sideline on field goal kick returns because they're so rare.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, Chris Davis takes it, suddenly gets a lane, takes off, wins the game, shocks the world. They rush the field. I love it. I'm going to say out of moments, that moment was boom, done, over, phenomenal. I love it. All of those could be argued every way, but I like the kick 6 off the top of my head.
Honestly, I totally agree with number 1. It honestly gives me goosebumps now just thinking about it, thinking of the call of Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I think it has to go down. It's the best sports.
Alabama, it was tied, right?
It was tied, yeah.
So they didn't have to kick it. They could have went to overtime.
No, so I don't know if you remember, but the play before, Alabama threw a kind of a check down play to get out of bounds, and originally they ruled it that time had expired, and they were going to go to overtime. Well, Nick Saban challenged it to get the extra second back on the clock to kick the field goal, and the rest is history. I mean, it was, truly, one of the greatest moments in sports history. I love the list.
Well, our resident holder, Seth Ryan, probably would have made that tackle and saved the game,
would've.
so Alabama should have recruited
But ladies
him.
and gentlemen, that was our 4 for 4. Thanks for tuning in for that. Thanks for tuning in for this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whenever you're watching it. We love doing this. Thank you all, guys.
And hey, remember, pens. I can't remember anything. Have a good night. Man, that's a lot of editing for Chris. I'm so sorry. I've sucked the last 2 weeks. I need to get it together.
That's all right.